Just take the pill, Jonathan. Take the pill. Take the pill. But all right, you're gonna edit that out. I know you are. All right. Because that sounds weird, otherwise out of context. So, hello everyone. How are you doing today? Good to see you. Yeah, I've had another week in sports. Just a couple of us today. In theory, that means it's going to be a short podcast, even though it never is when we do these short ones. So, but in theory, it will be a short podcast. How are you doing, Jonathan?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Had a decent week. It's been good. But
I'm doing a lot better after the Astros swept Sean's Twins. It's been rough with football season, so I needed some hope. Sean still needs some hope, and I'm just kind of hoping Sean's hope is delayed on Sunday by the Texans beating the equally underperforming Vikings. So sorry, Sean.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to go equally underperforming, but I think a lot of people kind of saw the Texans as – I think a lot of people expected a lot more out of the Vikings than people expected out of the Texans, honestly. But we'll get to NFL. We're not there yet. But, yeah you kind of hit it on it. Baseball. Baseball's happened. Baseball playoffs in the craziest, largest baseball playoffs we've ever had. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of liked it. Getting a chance to sit all day and, watch baseball, that was kind of fantastic.
3-game series are amazing. They should all be 3-game series.
I kind of liked it. This is great. I know it's weird, but let's just do this again. Let's have this be the playoff field. And we can kind of get to it. I mean, you had mentioned it a little bit in chat. Is it weird to have losing teams in the playoffs?
Overall, our record's 500 right now.
As of now, it is. Your record's there. The who was the other one?
The Brewers. The Brewers, and they got eliminated quick.
Yeah, they got eliminated. Go ahead and lean forward, Jonathan.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, your face is disappearing in your background. You got entirely into someone's chest. We'll get to that. But yeah. So I mean, it's there. It's one of those things. Honestly, I kind of like it. In basketball, I mean, if the East is allowed to continue to be a thing, we're going to have losing records make it in the basketball playoffs forever. Whoever goes to the NFC is going to make it losing. In baseball, the way you can go on runs in baseball, I'm more open to it in baseball.
Baseball is so much more variable than all the other sports that it makes sense. It kind of just makes sense. Was it? Well, I mean, obviously, if a season had ended at the 60-game mark, your best performing Rockies team would have never made the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean,
under the old rules. Yeah, under the old rules, I think they might have under the new rules. I didn't fact check that, but they wouldn't have.
And that was kind of what you mentioned it there. I mean, I'll let you continue the thought. It's a great thought, but just kind of giving them perspective of kind of what we talked about. That's definitely the biggest thing for this year, because I remember you had asked in chat was, why do these two losing teams in? And I go, it's because every year a team goes on a run, and it's one of the best things about baseball. You mentioned my Rockies. One of the greatest stories, I think, in baseball. It would have been better had they won the series, obviously. But
take the pill. They were never allowed to win.
No, that Boston team was much better than that. That Boston team was a lot better. The other big thing is, I'll still hold this, is the fact that the Yankees Red Sox series that year went as long as it did. That's what really more, maybe not as much as the talent difference, but that's what doomed the Rockies. you're going on a run like what they went on, and you suddenly had nearly a week off. Yeah, that's how runs die.
Just as an aside, if the Rockies win that World Series, does that make Tulowitzki a Hall of Famer?
I don't see Tulo going in there. I think it secures Helton's place. Helton for sure gets. I think Helton had better get in. Otherwise, I'm not holding out hope. But Helton deserves to get in. Otherwise,
Larry Walker gives me hope for Helton.
Gives me hope, but I'm still not. Walker at least played in other cities and was great in other locations as well. But I think Matt Holliday has a halfway decent chance. Because I don't think he's going otherwise. Maybe later for what he did. He had some good games with the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Good years with the Cardinals, but I don't think that. I think he gets in with that. Tulo becomes a tough spot, and I'll have friends that'll correct me in there if I get this wrong. But Tulo got hurt always. Tulo was always hurt. He was made of glass, unfortunately. And he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah. I don't remember who, but and if I did, I would give them credit. So this thought's not mine. But I do remember someone was comparing Tulowitzki and Tim Lincecum as the two guys that were dominant enough in a prime that if they had just stayed healthy, they would have probably made the Hall of Fame, but just can't.
Maybe I'll still say this. There's nothing. I mean, I'll hold to this, and the Rockies have another really great one now. There was absolutely nothing like watching Troy Tulowitzki play defense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He very well could be, when healthy, the greatest defensive shortstop of all time. Watching him, and I think it's a fair comparison to make to see greatness. Maybe there are better people to look at, but when I hear people compare him to Jeter, yes, this is going to be a podcast, so I'm going to rip Jeter. Sorry, Yankees fans. Guy was overrated, especially 100%. Defense. He doesn't play for the Yankees. He gets into the Hall of Fame later, nowhere near when he gets in now. But anyway, compare Tulowitzki playing that position. Like, no, it makes you question whether or not they're playing the same position. Then again, also, I guess Jeter does make those spectacular looking plays as Tulo. The difference is Tulo covers like 45 feet in order to make that play, where Jeter covered like 5 and still had to make a fantastic looking dive. But so I mean, there's a little bit there defensively, and that's the other side that hurts him, and it's another side that also hurts Helton as well. Is Hall of Famers or the Hall of Fame voters don't really care about your defense that much. You don't make the Hall of Fame for defense. You make the Hall of Fame for what you do with the bat, and you only can make the Hall of Fame what you do with the bat when you have at bats. Again, Tulowitzki was fantastic, but he definitely had some holes there. So yeah, that's that series. But with that story, and that's kind of what we hit at was, going on a run, and we kind of see that a little bit. I mean, your team is the beneficiary of it, but a not good team got out of the first round, or a team with a not great record got out of the first round and has a chance to make a run. We get these stories, which that's what baseball is kind of about. It's this whole thing of hunkering down. I mean, there are movies that are made about teams being awful and then, putting their nose to the grind midway through the season and dominating it from then on out.
You mean our opponent in the DS?
Like, well, I mean, there's that one, but I mean, no, like, okay, actually, I'm going to argue that almost every baseball movie ever, like Angels in the Outfield is a bad team that gets good at half. Now, magic things happen, but they get good at half. Rookie of the Year, bad team gets good at half.
Moneyball,
and that's true.
Major League,
like all of these are about teams that do poorly at the beginning, like awful at the beginning of the season, and then turn it on at the last half and just gonna go. Like That's the story about baseball. So you're gonna have it, and having a playoffs with this kind of thing in it, like I like it. Like I want, especially with 3-game series, I want 16-team playoffs from now on. Like I want a 16-team playoff. If
Yeah.
you're gonna give me a universal if you're gonna force a universal DH down my throat, give me a 16-team playoff from here on out.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Hey, speaking of that movie Major League, where the whole point was they're trying to not become the team that goes to Miami.
Yeah.
The Marlins have never lost a playoff series ever. Ever. Like they just beat the Cubs, which is awesome. The Cubs are like
Cubs are Dallas Cowboys.
No.
With less success, but yeah, the Dallas.
No. I can't think of I cannot think of another sports team that has had as little success as the Cubs have and has the arrogance of the Cubs.
Yeah.
They're the worst. Anyway, so anytime the Cubs lose, it's awesome. But Miami lives to fight again. I do kind of hope they lose because Atlanta is, to me, the most fun team to watch in the AL. Or NL. Sorry.
I will go. So, but before we just kind of get to that with the whole thing with Miami, not asterisk, but if you went to school, a bullet or footnote.
Mm-hmm.
I got to make a footnote for this. So yes, before this series, Miami has been to the playoffs twice. That's it. It's the only times they've ever actually gone to the playoffs. And they won the World Series both of those years. So that is why Miami has never lost that. Like, they actually still don't have that many series wins.
Mm-hmm.
But
Miami literally won a World Series on accident. Like, they traded away. Well, they won the first one, and that was kind of legit. They were kind of trying. The second one, they were, like, selling off players left and right and still accidentally won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing I'll say this about Miami is there a team that's more perfect to win a World Series where there are no fans than a team without any fans?
Yeah.
Like, imagine that will be the actual first socially distanced parade. They're going to sit out there, and the parade's going to go through. They're going to give the parade where they're bringing through the trophy. It's going to be Steve. Steve, you've been with us all the time. Yeah, Steve. Because
the one fan.
The one guy that's there.
I don't know how it's got to be hard to compete with a sports culture that includes the Dolphins and the Heat. It's just.
Well, really? Because no one shows up to the Heat games either.
No, the Heat are always great in attendance.
Well, okay, sorry. They show up to the Heat games late. And the Dolphins, same thing. Like, that's not a great –
the Dolphins aren't great right now.
But as far as great sports, and it's always kind of been the case. I remember seeing the videos when LeBron first got there. Now, granted, later on, the games were – the first quarter had empty seats galore because no one showed up. Because it's – for a market with as great stories and as much success at times as that market has had, that market does not care at all about their sports teams.
That is a little weird. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to do in South Florida, though. There's a lot of stuff to do.
There is, and it's kind of the same thing with. I mean, I was talking to my sister about this a little bit with Tampa. That Tampa, she's like, man, all these old people that can't go out. I'm like, well, the old people aren't fans. Like, the old people, it's a retirement thing. As someone who lives in another retirement city, it's the frustrating thing for Florida. It's one of the big parts. But you carry the allegiance of where you came from.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing. But as in Arizona's trying to do a little bits of it where they're pushing superstars like Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald is absolutely beloved in this city. People may not be Cardinals fans, but you will never hear anyone. This city will go to battle and fight for Larry Fitzgerald. Like, people say something bad about Fitz, the city's ready to throw hands. Paul Goldschmidt was kind of like the same way. Like, when Paul Goldschmidt got traded, people were ticked. Way more people were angry about that than I ever saw at a Diamondbacks game. So, like, for what that's just kind of there. But we digress. I have a feeling this is just going to be a talking podcast. So enjoy that. But So right now, let's actually put some structure to this thing. We're at the DL the LDS series is.
Mm-hmm.
So the ALDS, we've got Tampa Bay versus the Yankees, Houston versus the A's. Interestingly, actually, this is weird. I just noticed this.
Yeah, 2 AL East teams and 2 AL West teams.
And on the other side, it's 2 NL West and 2 NL East.
Wow, that's kind of cool.
Just noticed this, yeah. What's going on, Central? Step up your game, okay?
To be fair to the NL Central, it's terrible. Like all the teams are bad in the NL Central. And I can't figure out how 4 teams out of the worst division in baseball ended up in those playoffs. But yeah, it happened.
But yeah, it's just like what the all right, like that's just weird. I just noticed that. But so yeah, we have that, and then in the National League side, LA versus San Diego, and Miami versus Atlanta. So who do you got in Tampa Bay versus New York?
Tampa Bay is the smartest franchise in baseball recently. The Yankees have been so beat up lately. I don't know. Like they're just so beat up. And I feel like it's more going to be so injuries, but that's not a dig. I mean, Tampa's got great pitching, got great player development, a really fantastic manager, might be the best manager in baseball. And the Yankees have good players. It's just, I don't know. They kind of feel like they're held together with like spaghetti and marshmallows. If you ever did that, like, science experiment as a kid in elementary school.
So I'm in this really weird position because I've grown up my entire life hating everything Yankees. Boston fans, I hate your team too. Like it's not a thing.
Yeah.
I hate you both, right?
Yeah, they're both annoying.
However, because the Yankees have so many former Rockies, like
you're gonna root for them just because of DJ.
And like the Rockies that I really enjoyed seeing them play. Like so Rockies, so DJ is there. Ottavino, I believe, is still there. Who's one of my favorite closers and relievers. That slider. Oh man, when that slider was working, even especially in Colorado, where if you guys don't know how breaking balls work in Colorado, here's why here's the even more than like altitude, but it's not that altitude lets the ball travel far. It's that your breaking ball doesn't break. That's kind of the issue, one of the big issues in Colorado. But you watch Adam Ottavino throw a slider, it like will go clear across the plate, and everyone just looks at it. Just how did you do that? He does that at altitude, which is just insane. I miss Otto so much.
If we're going to talk about pitchers in that series, he won't get to pitch in this series because he pitched in the last one. But Tyler Glasnow as one of the most disgusting curveballs of all time. And when people hit it, it goes like 2 feet. It's awesome. Just quick shout out to that because every time he throws that curveball, my mouth just kind of goes. It's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah. So actually, even though I say that, actually, I'm not even sure if he's on the current if he's healthy even on the roster anymore. Ottavino is, but yeah. So it's one of those weird things. But maybe it is just for DJ. I love DJ. DJ was one of my favorite players for there, and he hasn't done anything to get me. I was one of the starting defenders and had to fight people off of, well, that batting title really doesn't mean anything. No, DJ LeMahieu's not a good player. He just plays in Colorado. He's not a good player. He just plays. I defended DJ so much. And so the fact that DJ has gone to another team and just rakes and just saying, oh, by the way, yeah, I'm actually good. I wasn't a product of Colorado. Makes me really just I love DJ so much. But at the same time.
All right. to jump from your
Okay.
former team, your former people who used to play for your team, to my team that's actually in a series. I have very little hope. McCullers has given up. Like, McCullers is going to have to pitch in this series because Greinke and Framber pitched in the first one. And the A's have ate his lunch all year. We never got a fourth or fifth starter all year. We were just plugging in people and trying to find something. It's going to be bad. And this has been a year of bad injuries. I do think we will lose this series. The A's have been really good. But I don't see whoever wins this series getting past the winner of the other one. So
Yeah, I can see that. So my pick, I think the Yankees are the better team, but we'll see if the health goes through. So I didn't actually make a pick of it. I think the Yankees are a better team, but that health really could come into play. So I will go Yankees, but I won't be surprised if Tampa Bay wins that one.
yeah.
I'm picking the A's. It goes through it.
There's a reason. There's a reason the Astros have a losing record, and its name is Dusty Baker.
No,
But
it's because you can't hit.
you can't hit because
The crappy bat. Yeah, because you stopped cheating. Sorry, we're not
No.
going there.
No.
Yes.
Also, when you've got 4 or 5 guys with hand injuries trying to hit, hand injuries seem to be hard for people to come back from. And then people haven't been healthy. The bats have woke up over the past 10 games, but I think a lot of Dusty Baker's moving people around lineups, not letting people know where they're going to hit, if they're going to start until the day of. That's not a way to instill confidence in your players. I do think this will be George Springer's last hurrah. I think he's gone. I do not think they'll pursue him in free agency. I think they'll let him walk. I think he's gone, especially with the emergence of Kyle Tucker. I think Kyle Tucker is probably going to end up being the center fielder next year, and it's gonna be interesting to see how this team recovers. I think we talked about it off air a little bit. I would be interested to see Dusty Baker underperformed big time. He underperformed big time, and a lot of that is due to, like, Bregman missed a third of the season. Altuve missed a bunch of the season. Springer missed almost half the season. Jordan played in 1 game. Ozuna never got over COVID. Literally missed the entire year because of COVID. And so, I mean, you're talking 5 guys that have been all-stars right there within the last 2 or 3 years. And so, but I do think Baker's gone, and I think Hinch might be getting his job back. I think there's a good possibility that Hinch gets his job back.
It makes so much sense for Hinch to get his job back. Like, especially how unapologetic as the team and organization has been about just everything. I mean, I'm not trying to mean to throw. We're not turning this into another Astros cheating podcast, but I mean, when they made the playoffs and won, you guys doubted us. Yeah, we don't need. I mean, it's this whole thing. The story would be incomplete if Hinch doesn't come back. Like,
I have read that he is interviewing with the Tigers today.
The story doesn't make sense. It's not the story we need.
We need Hinch back. I hated it. Like, Hinch is the reason. Hinch and Garrett Cole are the reasons we lost the World Series last year. But Hinch is gonna end up getting that job back, and he's obviously the best manager available right now. or maybe Cora, and I think both of them should get back to the club that they got suspended from. I think both of them should be back because I think. Look, there's been a bit of a drop off in the bats, but nothing that can't be overly explained by injuries and they didn't know certain people in the lineup didn't know pitches were
What
coming.
the pitches? What pitches were coming?
Yeah. I don't think it's been that big of a deal because when you look at it from the perspective of the guys that were on the team in 2017, the guys that were on the team in 2017 that raked really well in 2017, they had some fall off. Bregman and Springer had a little bit of a fall off. Now Bregman broke his wrist, so like that's almost an all out. But Springer had a big fallout, and I think it's really obvious that Springer maybe really benefited from the sign stealing. Altuve had a fallout, but it's also kind of consistent with his age.
He's not that old.
No, but his fallout, he's on a curve where his numbers have been declining over the last 3 years. In that,
we will never know for sure.
We will never really know. I will say this. Reddick is hitting the exact same, but Reddick didn't hit good during 2017. So, like he was the one dude who didn't hit good during 2017. So yeah.
But yeah, so that's that one. So yeah, but I still like the A's in that series.
I like the A's. The A's have the Astros pitching is where the real problem has been.
Yeah.
And the A's ate the Astros pitching all year. It'll be yeah.
On the other side, I'm actually okay. I'm frustrated with the way the brackets have lined up because I think LA and San Diego should be the finals. The National League Championship Series. LA is LA. Like this entire season, as much as it's pained me and hurt me to admit, I mean, LA is just LA. I mean, I remember, watching some Rockies series, talking with my mother, who is one of the most pessimistic. She makes Jonathan look optimistic when it comes to sports, but my mother is one of the most pessimistic people to watch sports with. My dad always made jokes so John Elway's nickname was the comeback kid. Because of all the fourth quarter comebacks he led. My mother missed like 90% of them because she had turned off the TV and walked away and gave up on the game. But she was excited, and even me, I'm the optimistic one. The Rockies would be up against the Dodgers and be playing well, and I'd be like, just give it a minute because we'll still be playing well. We won't. Our pitcher won't make a mistake.
You mean like me when we were up by 27 against Kansas City in the divisional round?
You will straighten out because you actually made mistakes. But it'd be one of those situations where it was just kind of, no, we're going to put the ball right where it needs to be. The pitch is going to be right where it needs to be. And the guy's going to kill it and crush it.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's just kind of like, no, it's going to be the things that we can't – no, like, they're going to come back and win the game. There was nothing that the Rockies could have done to stop it. Now, once they didn't, it was fantastic. It was awesome. It made me happy. But then the other times, same thing. Is they went through and, there's just nothing to do. That's how LA just feels like the juggernaut. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go there. I'm going to go X-Men references here. Like, LA feels like this unstoppable rolling juggernaut, but San Diego has this Wolverine mentality of just this, like, no. We maybe not shouldn't be here. We're kind of small. We're San Diego. Who cares? No, but we're actually really good and get out of our way. Like
this is how I want this series to end. I want it to be like a no-hitter going into the ninth, and like bottom of the ninth for a no-hitter in the playoffs, and suddenly like a walk and then an advanced runner, and then and then with a no-hitter going on in the ninth, but still a runner on second, I want Tatis Jr. to bunt, break it up, and get a walk-off bunt double. So he breaks an unwritten rule again, and they win. That's how I want it to work.
No, I'd rather a walk off with a bat flip that goes straight into empty stands. Like that's what I'm rooting for. Like
That'd be awesome. Like
biggest, because there's no one in the stands. You have to about hit anybody. The biggest bat, like straight up throw the thing into the second deck. That would be fantastic. Off of Kelly.
Off of Joe Kelly would be awesome. That would be awesome. Like nothing has been more entertaining this year than watching Tatis Jr. just be himself, and it's been really good. Like, and I don't think he's doing it to be disrespectful.
Nope, he's having fun.
I think he's just having fun. And having fun, and then he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
Him, I'll give it. Like he's having fun. Like when Bryce Harper pulls the stuff. No, I think Bryce Harper is being an arrogant punk. When Puig did it, Puig was being an arrogant jerk. I don't know, something about Tatis that like, no, this kid's having a good time. This kid's having fun. This kid's really just enjoying time. That reminds me. There's a story. Darn it, I forgot to look it up beforehand. And currently, my internet is down, so I can't look it up. But there was one thing Trevor Bauer said something about someone broke another rule or whatever, and Bauer got like livid because like it was another one where he got livid though for the person like being ashamed of breaking it. Like it wasn't like, no man, it was like, no, the heck is wrong with you, man? Own that crap. Take it. You did awesome. I can't remember for life me. It was like last week. And I can't remember
I have been all on board with not liking Trevor Bauer until this season. Like just something about this season has made me like really enjoy Trevor Bauer. I don't know if it's
I believe what I think the biggest thing with him is he can be abrasive and his personality can be abrasive a little bit, but with him you know exactly where he stands. And it's
cool. Like even when I disagree with him, I still am entertained by him.
Yeah, I know exactly where he goes. I know exactly where he stands. Mm-hmm. Another guy that in the past was kind of somewhat similar. Again, I didn't really like him for stuff, but Mad Bum, when Mad Bum was doing Mad Bum things, like whether you disagree with his points or claim it, so whatever. No, know exactly where I know exactly what it is. I know what his rules are. I know what his line in the sand is, and I know he will fight you for anything. My favorite lines on that was Bomani Jones. I'm not a huge fan of Bomani Jones on ESPN, but I remember him saying at one point, for his wedding, for Madison Bumgarner for his wedding, he bought his wife a cow. Like that was wedding present. They live on a ranch. Like they live on a ranch.
That makes slight sense.
Makes sense. Like no. She wanted a cow. It was like a cow, bull, steer. But the conclusion that Bomani Jones made was any man that buys his wife a cow stays ready. That man stays ready at all times. He bought his wife a cow. You know what? He's ready to fight. At any given moment, he's ready to fight. But we're not talking about Madison Bumgarner and the way he failed mightily for the Diamondbacks this year. But this series, if I've got to pick it, like I said, I've got Juggernaut versus Wolverine. And I gotta go with Juggernaut. If I've got to pick, I want it to be San Diego. My heart says it wants to be San Diego, but it's got to be LA. Like LA is likely to do LA things and screw it up, but on paper, LA is the
LA has to make it to the World Series and then lose again and then somehow blame someone for cheating. That's the way it's going to work.
That's just thinking about LA. Like it's on paper, objectively, I look at it on paper. No, LA is absolutely the best team in baseball, like hands down. If you want to argue with me, any other team is actually on paper better. Yankees, when healthy, maybe somewhat, but you're still wrong. Like no, the Dodgers are on paper the greatest team in this league this year. Whether that means they'll win or not, and not do Dodger things and lose, whatever. But you can't pick against the Dodgers.
Yeah, I like the Dodgers to win that series as well. With the other side of the bracket, okay, I'm not going to pick against the Marlins because I have yet to see them lose. And so we might as well just pencil them in for the World Series now as we go, but to win the World Series. But I'm going to be honest, the Braves are the most fun team to watch in the National League.
Braves are good. I said I'll put San Diego there. I'll put San Diego as more fun.
San Diego's really fun too. Freddie Freeman is being awesome. Acuna Jr. is one of my favorite players in this generation of young guys coming up right now. Between Acuna Jr. and Tatis Jr., we have got a really bright future for the young guys in the National League.
Yeah, it's going to be there. I mean, there's a lot of really good youth. I mean, again, that's one of those things. It's weird just because that. I mean, the story would be fantastic if it continues going. And as I said earlier, a team with no fans winning in the year with no fans would be just poetic and perfect. But I mean, it kind of goes back to like it. Atlanta is just a solid, dominating team. And Miami, I was sure, like, wait, how is Miami still in this? Not only that, how is Miami still in this ahead of two other teams? Like,
and they beat the Cubs. And
they beat the Cubs. And as much as I want to grip in the Cubs, like, the Cubs are not bad. How is Miami doing this? The story there, but I can't. I have to think logic. I've got to think with my head. And my head's going to tell me that it's got to be Atlanta.
I agree. It's probably going to be Atlanta. I think that's probably fair. And we'll get back with this probably next week with an update on if we were right or wrong.
Right or wrong, but let's just go this just because we didn't do it at the very beginning. We talked about it, thought about doing it. But all right, just who beats who in the World Series?
Tampa Bay beats LA, and then 4 months later, there's going to be sign stealing allegations against Tampa Bay. And it'll be 3 times in 4 years that LA has lost the World Series because someone sign stole.
Again, my head pick. This is my head pick. LA beats New York. We're gonna actually get through not shenanigans like we see in other sports. I think it will be legit. New York gets to the series, the World Series that the high ups and that baseball wants forever. New York versus the Yankees versus the Dodgers. That we're gonna actually get it, and the Dodgers are gonna win. I might watch out of principle, out of protest, because everyone else is going to watch. It's going to be the highest rated World Series in a long time. Yeah, I'm not watching out of protest because you expect me to. But
no, I'd watch. It'll be fun. I think that's a fair take. And you know what, guys? We've got a lot of stuff we could cover, but I think that's going to be about all the time we've got for today.
I do want to hit. Just at the end of the Stanley, just because I've been the one person who works hockey takes into things. The Stanley Cup happened. Stanley Cup championship has been awarded to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Congratulations!
It was good. It was a great final series. Despite not going 7, it was a great series.
It was really entertaining. It was really entertaining.
It was great. The Weasel, watching the Weasel, they zoomed in on his face. I'll explain who it is, but just know he's the Weasel. You don't need to actually know his name. I'll give it to you for the sake of argument. But the Weasel, know him as the Weasel from here on out. When they zoomed in on his face, when he recognized that he failed, was fantastic and great. It was the episode of The Simpsons where you could see his heart break. You see the exact moment where his heart broke, and it was just fantastic. But yeah, Corey Perry, I can't stand Corey Perry. Corey Perry is a dirty player who deserves anything that comes to him. They even tried to show me his kids, his like 1-year-old at home celebrating a goal he scored to try to get me to sympathize with Corey Perry. It didn't work. They kept showing his wife in the stands. Did not work. Still have no sympathy. But to see him fail was fantastic. But it was a great cup. A good story out of that. Steven Stamkos, the captain. That's the biggest thing in the Stanley Cup is the captain's the first one who gets to hold up the trophy. He was injured for most of this entire playoffs. He got to play 7 minutes total in game, I believe it was game 3. Scored a goal, but that was all he got to play. And then they came back and injured, and everyone was kind of questioning, should he have even bothered? Should he have been in the game? Like, it was their questions there. Big worries, but they made it a point. You can see the entire team, like, wanted to get there. And that's one of my it's one of my favorite. I talk about this a lot. I know you guys maybe get tired of hearing me take hockey, but given that I actually don't know when hockey starts back up, you may have to have your hockey take for a while. So congratulations, which means I get in more now. The Stanley Cup award ceremony, there are a few other trophy award ceremonies that really, really speak to me as much, and most of those were just for Homer reasons. I think that the Broncos, this one's for Pat, this one's for John, and then this one's for Pat. Whether you're a Broncos fan or not, I think those two moments really got to speak to you. Jordan's last one where he's crying over it, where he knows it's the last one. That one is good. LeBron's first one, those have good. But
LeBron's one in Cleveland was pretty emotional.
Yeah, every year, the Stanley Cup award is just, oh man, it tears at you. Like it tears at you. You see so much camaraderie and brotherhood, and the way they skate around, handing the trophy off to each person, and each person kisses the trophy, and it really is fantastic history. If you ever get a chance, like just look at that. Whether you're a hockey fan or not, or just look at some of the like best there. Like there's some moments that will bring a tear to your eye. And this is one of the ones that was just a fantastic, amazing one when you see a captain that he felt that he let his team down because he wasn't able to play. But his team still like insisted on like, no, you go get it. Go get it. You're still the captain. You're still the leader. So it was fantastic. Congratulations to Tampa. That was a great win. The team I wanted to win just because they don't have the weasel on it. But it was a great one. If you haven't checked it out, really should check out more hockey. But that's all I got to get on that hockey. Unless you got anything else to add.
No, I think that's good.
You watched it.
I did watch it, but I did watch it was on Real TV. So I was able to watch some of it. And so it was fun. I do like hockey. I wish it was on TV more, like Real TV more. But did get to watch a little bit of it. Got to watch a little bit of Game 3 when he came in and scored. Was able to watch that live, and it was great. But guys, that's all we've got time for this week, and we'll catch you guys next week.